First Alert meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi has a timeline for this First Alert Weather Day.
That's right. We have a lot to cover on this First Alert Weather Day for today and then another tomorrow. Want to start with some brand new information from the Storm Prediction Center. They did enhance our severe threats south and west of the city. This includes Troup, Meriwether, and Upson counties, also parts of Fayette and Clayton and Henry County. That level 2 threat now extending in our southwestern counties, including the city of LaGrange, Thomaston, Griffin, and Peachtree City. This essentially means that isolated severe storms are likely. We're primarily going to look between the hours of about 4 and 8 p.m. for that severe threat, but we could have a severe storm a little bit earlier as well. All of us are going to deal with the rain. In fact, heavy downpours likely and ongoing right now on First Alert radar. So let's take you through it. We are tracking a couple of storms as well north of the city in Floyd and Chattooga County. This little cluster of very heavy rain also producing thunderstorm activity at times. We have had the National Weather Service watching this very carefully. These storms are moving extremely quickly. We're talking northeast at 50 miles per hour. This cluster of storms has been producing 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Also some small hail. So a heads up in Adairsville. This could be knocking on your door around 12:27, Fairmont around 12:48, and Ellijay just after 1 o'clock. So if you had any plans to maybe go grab some lunch, run some errands, you're definitely going to want to keep an account that it is going to be raining. And if you live in any of the cities that I named, potentially it could get a little rough with that wind really picking up. Let's take you through the rest of the day. No matter where you live across North Georgia, you're more than likely going to see the rain, if not the heavy rain at some point. Here's a look at First Alert radar at 5 o'clock. Temperatures in the 60s, heavy rain ongoing. And just with all the rain we've already experienced, we are going to see ponding on the roadways through the evening tonight. So if you have any plans to head out later, whether it's coming home from work, picking up the kids from school, just know that the roads are going to be tough to drive on. And we already know when it rains in Atlanta, that causes issues on the roadways, so just give yourself plenty of time. By tomorrow morning, that rain is moving out, and tomorrow we shift our attention to the cold. But look at what we're looking at rainfall-wise. Along the I-85 corridor and points south, isolated flash flooding is likely. We're looking to pick up an additional 2 inches of rain, and that's just within 24 hours. So you put that much rain in a short period of time, that's the definition of flash flooding. That is one of the reasons for our First Alert Weather Day. As I mentioned, tomorrow we shift our attention to the cold. We're going to start in the 50s, but look at how temperatures drop through the day. We're talking low to mid 40s throughout the entirety of your Wednesday, and boy, is it going to get windy. And you know what that means. When it gets cold and it gets windy, it's going to feel even colder. You will want the coats tomorrow. We're looking at wind gusts tomorrow afternoon between 35 and 40 miles per hour. You put up those Christmas decorations yet? Yeah, you're going to want to make sure that they're secured in the ground. Any of you with the inflatable Christmas decorations, I'm especially talking to you. Our First Alert Weather Day will continue today as we have the 100% chance of rain, and also for Wednesday, we will start to at least get a little more mild heading into the weekend, and we'll look mostly dry for the rest of the week.
All right, some strong storms right now with this First Alert Weather Day. The threat of severe weather increasing for certain parts of the metro as well. Here's First Alert meteorologist Courteney Jacobazzi, and I'm just like, okay, we're halfway through this stretch of First Alert Weather Days, right?
Yeah, because we've had quite a rainy stretch, and then it's about to get very cold. That's the reason for our First Alert Weather Day tomorrow.
Got it.
A lot going on in the weather department, but that's what our First Alert Weather Days are for, to get you and your family prepared for it. Let's start with First Alert radar here, because this is the big story right now. Very heavy rain falling across parts of metro, especially south of the city, and along and south of the I-85 corridor is where it looks like most of the heavy rain is going to set up. Also where our greatest flash flooding threat is. We'll take you on a little bit of a radar tour here. So we have some heavy rain moving through Douglasville right now. So if you're about to hop on I-20, something to keep in mind. Also down in Noonan along I-85, some heavy rain falling. A very heavy band of rain extending from Monroe through Conyers and Rockdale County into Henry County. And I did put a tracker on that. These showers, we don't have a lot of thunderstorm activity right now, but these showers are moving off to the northeast at around 35 miles per hour. So Walnut Grove around 321, Oxford around 336, Monroe around 338, Covington around 340, and North High Shoals around 409. So just something to keep in mind if you're about to head out, maybe run some errands, pick up the kids from school in the next half hour or so. Rain will be likely, ponding in the roads likely, because some spots have already picked up in just the last 12 hours over an inch of rain. Not only are we watching for the flooding threat today, but also the threat for some isolated severe storms along and south of I-20. That's where we're really going to focus. But I do think even if you're outside of the threshold of this severe threat, that you are still fair game for maybe a strong storm. It does look like the highest threat for severe weather, where all the ingredients will come together for maybe an isolated severe storm to be likely will be south and west of the city, including LaGrange, Thomaston, all the way over into southern Henry, Clayton, and Fayette County as well. Let's take you through First Alert Futurecast and time everything out for you hour by hour here. Going through the next hour around 4 o'clock, you'll notice this heavy line of showers continues to stay stretched all along the I-85 corridor from the mountains through Gwinnett County into the city of Atlanta and points south. So your evening commute will be a messy one with all the rain that's already fallen. Expect those roads to be wet, and you know the flood prone areas where ponding is always likely when we get heavy rain like this. Expect that to be the case if you live in a flood prone area through the night tonight. 9 o'clock, heavy rain continues as rain continues to train. We will have the potential for flash flooding through the night tonight. Going into tomorrow morning, rain continues mainly east of the city. So if you're an early commuter and you live from Atlanta off to the east, showers still possible. The road will more than likely be damp. But look at this, from Athens to Covington down to Griffin, an additional 2+ inches of rain possible. So that's the reason for that flash flooding threat. That's the amount of rain that we'll normally get in about half a month, and we're getting it in about 24 hours. Tomorrow, our attention shifts to the cold. We'll start in the 50s with that chance for showers in the morning, and then we drop into the 40s. When you feel the wind pick up tomorrow, and it will, late tomorrow morning, gusts 25 to 30, that's when the cold air is rushing in. Isolated gusts as high as 40 miles per hour possible tomorrow afternoon, and you bet that's going to make it feel colder. It's going to feel more like the 30s through the day tomorrow. Here's a look at that First Alert 7-day forecast. So our First Alert weather day continues today. It will continue into tomorrow, not necessarily for the rain, although a few showers possible in the morning, but it is going to get downright cold tomorrow, feeling more like the 30s most of the day, waking up freezing Thursday mornings. Keep the coats handy. Our next rain chance comes on the weekend, just a small rain chance. It's going to be a cool and kind of damp weekend, and then we'll go back into the 60s by the start of next week.
Thank you so much.